do this one.
Okay, council, we will continue on the agenda, and I turn to the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next and final staff report for consideration is 12.2.4, Pelham Pool Update. And I have a motion moved by Councillor Wink, seconded by Councillor Niznik. Be it resolved that Council receive report 2025-0190 for information and that Council proceed with option blank for the Pelham Pool. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And as council, you know that we have 4 options to choose from. So we will have our discussion, and at the end of it, we will be filling that blank in with option 1, 2, 3, or 4. The discussion is open, and I will call on any member of council to start us off. And matter of fact, like I said, I would like to say a few comments first. So I will, my own leaning at the beginning of this discussion is that we renovate the pool. And I guess my first thing, I wanted to ask the Director of Finance, whatever option we choose, 1, 2, 3, 4, the grant applies to either, to all the options, or to whatever option we choose, the grant applies to that option.
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, currently the way the grant is written, it refers to the Marlene Stewart Street Park. We did meet, Vicki and I met with the grant funder to say that there's a possibility that we might be moving the pool to the MCC. So there is an application that we have to fill out just to talk about that change. So they know that there's a meeting today. So we said once this meeting is done and we know council's direction, then we can work with them. So the answer is yes. We more than likely will be able to use the grant. So let's assume that we can.
Okay.
Just from what it sounds like with the funder.
Excellent. Thank you for clarifying. And again,
You still use the grant, yeah? Yeah, it's still, yeah.
and the grant is the amount?
It's 1.9 million.
Okay, beauty, thank you. I knew it was around the 2. Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. My own personal preference right now is renovating the pool where it is, using this percentage of this grant money. It would be the lowest cost option, and this council has passed some pretty, we had to pass, financial statements as they were, 4% or higher budgets, and the region, of course, has been piling on top of that. Again, poor infrastructure planning over the last decade, and kicking the can down the road. We've come to the end of the road, and now everybody of both, we've been on a different side of the road, I feel. The region, however, is, what is it, 65% or 45% of the region's infrastructure is I believe it's rated poor. So the time has come that we, at the region, we definitely have to do some fixing. Regardless, back to the town. We got a lot of big ticket items looking at us, and myself, I don't know if it's the smartest move, but I think it's the one that we can most financially handle at this present time. So that's what my feelings are. I'll open up to council, and we'd obviously love to hear from all members of council. Councillor Hildebrand.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Swimming lessons and public swims are important, but are low revenue programs, and at Pelham only operate 3 months of the year. The bottom line is municipal pools are continuous cost, lower revenue generating facilities, as opposed to arenas, which are higher revenue facilities. That's why pools almost always run at a larger operating deficit than arenas, despite being essential community assets. My justification for the lowest cost option number 1 is that's the cost-effective, lowest cost solution while securing another decade or so of use. It's practical, it preserves current programming and service levels without large-scale disruptions, in my view. It's financially responsible, it avoids committing the town to multi-million-dollar debt or tax increase at a time of economic pressure. It's flexible because it provides time for a long-term planning solution. In 8 to 10 years or longer, the town can reassess community needs, available grants, and future partnerships before making a larger investment. Rushing into spending for a brand-new pool that operates 3 months a year is not prudent, in my view. So my recommendation is to proceed with repair and renovations of the existing pool. It represents the maximum value for our taxpayers and maintains service in a short to medium term plan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor, for those comments. Any other comments on the subject? Councillor Wink.
So I know there's a lot of people in the community that would love a nice shiny new pool. But those people in the community have to realize that we've got a lot of large ticket items that need to be funded, and we can't keep on spending this kind of money to this type of magnitude. We've got a fire station coming up. We've got the library coming up. A few years down the road, we need a new operations facility. To spend another close to $10 million on a nice shiny pool, like, we just don't have the money, and the taxpayers would have to flip the bill. And I'm sorry, there's all sorts of good reasons to move the pool, but it all comes down to dollars and cents and affordability. I agree with Councillor Hildebrand and the mayor that the most efficient way of handling our money, and we've got this big grant that we're looking at and saying, yeah, we'd like to use it all. We won't be able to use it all if we're just going to renovate the pool, but we can't afford it. You know, so if we get 50% of that grant money, I think that's a prudent way of going and not be a burden on our taxpayers. So I will, and I've changed my mind on this, and really I'm looking at it from a taxpayer's perspective, and I would go with option 1.
Okay, thank you for their comments. Councillor Wink. Councillor Nesnick, please.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for the report. So just, I think, again, I've waffled back and forth because the location of the current pool is dynamite. It's such a beautiful spot. However, I'm just wondering, when I read the report, it really, even if when you do the renovations, it's going to cost you, $1 million or so. It's still only going to be a valid pool for 5 to 10 years. So my concern is, we pay now or we pay later. If we can use the entire grant, that brings the new pool build, either at the MCC or the other location that's suggested, to $6.1 million. And I think we are a growing community. We have growing families and growing children, and we want to make sure that we have a viable option for their swimming lessons. The access to that location is very poor, and it's almost dangerous. So I'm leaning towards the extension at the MCC, and putting a pool in that corner lot is where I think the town should go. Yes, it is incurring some debt and some financial things, but I do think it's prudent, if you're looking down 10, 20 years, then we have a brand new pool, we have a wonderful facility, and it's going to be there, and it's going to be a healthy spot for the next 50 years. So I think we're being a little short-sighted by taking the less expensive route, if that's the option that's chosen. So I won't be choosing option 1. I'll be choosing option, just a sec.
I believe it's 3.
3, maybe? Yes, option 3, to build the pool at the MCC courtyard and renovate the existing concession area. I was there this morning and I had a look at it, and it's an easy knock out that one wall window, close up that section, and you've got your office, you've got your change rooms, and it's all there. It's wonderful. And I think, we're being a bit short-sighted if we choose option 1. Thank you.
And Counselor, I hope you didn't begin renovations this morning while you were there.
I thought about getting a hammer, but no, I didn't.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Curry?
Yes, it's always a challenge when you look at what a town has as existing facilities, and then it's I think to follow up on Councillor Niznik, sometimes, is it a money pit per se? How much do you spend? That being said, the other part is I always, being a business person, everything else, I always look at what do I have in the bank? What am I already committed to spending in the future in the short term? What are the absolute priorities of the town? And the fact that it's one taxpayer funding the region, the town, everything. It would be nice to have a nice, shiny new pool for 25 years. I agree. It's always nice to have something brand new. It's like having a brand new car. You make a decision, at what point do you stop repairing the car or do you buy a new one? In this particular instance, sometimes the decision of buying new or renovating the old one comes back to, well, how much am I, quote, in the hole, in debt for everything else? The fire hall is a massive spend that we're committed to. There is no choice around it. As Councillor Wink brought up, we do have the Public Works Yard on the very short horizon that we will be forced into making a rather hefty decision on. We don't have the option of a minor renovation per se. We've made a commitment to the South Niagara Hospital. We have the commitment that's coming up with the renovations of the library in Font Hill. And there's also the other thing of asset management that's also coming on the horizon. And to be honest, the changes in the DC charges and how we finance ourselves is going to have dramatic impact on how the town operates and functions. 5 to 10 years out of something is my lean at this particular point. It allows us to utilize funds that are already allocated to us, so it's not coming out of our pocket directly. It's not adding to our debt by doing so. And it doesn't mean there isn't opportunities in the future for grants and everything else for a pool in the future when it fits more, when we're more fiscally sound. I know the prior council to my arrival had to go through tremendous financial discussions of getting the books balanced and making sure we don't overspend or getting some of the expenditures that weren't covered in the past, a classic one being our water bills, that suddenly a series of 0% have come up to bite us. Everyone is asking for more from the town. We have community groups. We just had a request for the trail for, looks like in the neighborhood of $200,000. Minor baseball for hundreds of thousands of dollars over multiple years. All different groups. Admittedly, access to the park is not the best, but it's functional. My own one at this point, and I guess having waffled and gone back and forth and everything, I'm coming back to option 1, which is renovate the existing pool, because I think fiscal prudence for this town at this particular juncture is incredibly important, and I think we have an opportunity in the future to look at other programs and grants that at a time when we're more financially stable. So I will be going for option 1, keep the existing pool.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Councillor Kerr. Any, Councillor Bernarski?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I strongly dislike the location of the pool as it is. I've voiced that previously. But I do understand the financial situation that we're in, the commitments that we have. I don't like the idea of giving money back from a grant that we already have. You know, it covers more than the cost of the renovation to the existing pool. But that being said, you know, would there be the option for grants in the future if we were to look at building a pool, which, I mean, if we were to defer this to the MCC down the road, it's only going to be more expensive at that time. The cost is what it is now. It is significant. We do have some grant money that we could put towards that, as Councilor Niznik said, but not moving it to a location where it would be most suitable now is only going to be more expensive in the future. And as Councilor Kerr said, we have other investments we'll need to do on the horizon, but those will be there, but the pool will be as well, and they'll all be more expensive at that time. But I just want to confirm that there would be the opportunity, even if we get this grant now, we spend it, we can use it at renovating the existing pool. There would be the opportunity to have further grants in the future for other pool options. Is that right?
I'll direct that to Mr. Cribbs, our CAO.
I don't think any of us can answer that definitively. I can here are a couple of true statements, though. We have a phenomenally skilled grant writing team. Also, when you give money back, it's not actually well received. And our library experience is that my whole career, I'd never, ever once given money back on a grant until last term of council with the library, and that was a 5.7? 5.2, beg pardon. And ultimately, it was determined with the huge inflation through COVID, we could not afford the proposed library that would have been built into the MCC, and so we gave that money back, and we've been utterly unsuccessful in obtaining any other grants for that project, which now is the renovation of the library remaining in the same location. But so our recent experience has been quite poor at that, but also, I mean, time heals all wounds, right? And the people you apply to become different. There'll be different humans there 5-6 years from now receiving those grant applications. And it'll be different senior staff, and it'll be different, one assumes, elected officials. So like we'll all change. So I don't think we can definitively tell you that one way or the other. We have both some unfortunate history at that, and we also have a tremendous capacity and success rate at this corporation in pursuing grants. It's something we do strategically, and we put a lot of effort in as a leadership team and then as a specific grant writing team. It is one of the high points of this corporation, without a doubt.
Thank you for that. And if we were to, I like everyone else, have been waffling between this, even with my strong distaste for the location currently. If I still lean toward option 3, is there the opportunity, if that were the option that is approved, to for further grants at the location? Could we put something forward to either increase a grant or get a completely new grant towards something like that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, currently this grant cannot be stacked like the existing project, but if you were to apply for a new grant, so for example, at the MCC, if you want to close it, that would be a new grant, then that would be a separate project from what we have right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Council, that's it? That's good? Okay, thank you. Any other, Deputy Mayor Eckert?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm reading over the report for option 1, and the term lipstick on a pig keeps coming to my head, because I'm looking at all the things that are recommended have to happen to renovate this pool, and then to add to it where they say, well, you can't be cutting into this stuff because it's so brittle and old, you better replace the whole pool tank. Because I'm worried that if we do all these things from 1 to 6, or I to VI, 1 to 6, we've still got an old brittle pool, and you know, they're saying 5 to 10 years, that's a guesstimate. But all of these things would, at least the first 6 would have to be done in order to keep this pool viable for a number of years going forward. And we still have an old pool in a not a great location for access. So what is the timeline? If we went with option 3, what is the timeline we're looking at for a pool to be built and up and running and functional at the MCC? What kind of a timeline are we looking at?
We'll see if someone can answer that. I'll go to Director of Recreation and Wellness, Ms. Van Ravensway.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no matter what option we have, if we're going to access the grant, it's March 31st, 2027, no matter what option.
Okay. So if we decided to go with option 3, wouldn't there still be a number of repairs that were required to the existing pool to keep it operating next summer?
To the director, or, oh,
I will let our manager speak.
to the manager, please?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Technically, no, we could operate in its current state right now. A lot of those pieces too are code related, and we are grandfathered in right now in the pool's current state to continue basically running as is till fail. So we can operate exactly how we did this summer, next summer.
With our fingers crossed.
With our fingers crossed, correct.
Okay. Yeah, I just have, I understand the logic and the argument about, you know, things coming up, big ticket items coming up, but I would much rather see any grant that we have or any additional grants that we may be able to apply for, applied for a new build. And so I would be looking at option 3 as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If I can go back, go ahead, Ms. Van Ravensway.
I don't know what your question is.
No, go ahead. You wanted to make a statement before I said it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make your
I
statement.
think it's fair to say that no matter what, we all realize we need to do something. And we're just happy that it's come to light and we can do something. Last summer, as we all know, we've had to close the pool because we just couldn't keep up. The filters just can't keep up with the heat and everything. And if we went with option 3 at a different location, we would still want to operate the pool next summer. That's our key. We would really like to continue with operations. It does many things, if we can. If we go with option 1, we will be closing the pool because we just can't operate when we're renovating it. But also with option 1, with the renovation, I just want council to realize it's still, if we're not replacing the pool, we will not have the accessible lane with the renovation. So the only accessibility that we will have is the chairlift. So just so that you do realize that as well, to qualify under the Ontario regs, I'm sorry, you should be. We need to move our fencing. So our fencing will be right up against the splash pad, and where the fencing is now on the deck, we still have a area for, for parents to watch the children. That's basically our viewing area. And now it will be on the deck, which the parents are not allowed to. So we'll have to figure that one out. But yeah, that's just a couple of things I just wanted to make sure that council realizes.
Thank you for that. And to the Director of Finance?
Yeah, I just wanted to reply back to the question that was asked earlier about the use of the grant. So we still have to go back to the funder and ask for permission for the renovation to the pool as opposed to a replacement. Because if I look at specifically what this grant funded, it funded accessibility improvements to the pool, playground, and adjoining areas, renovations and upgrades to electrical systems, pool house roof, the construction of a pavilion, and the replacement of a 45-plus-year-old outdoor pool. So I just want to we still need that approval if it's a renovation and not a replacement. So just wanted to make that clear. So there'd be two approvals that we need. Either we renovate, that's one approval, and we stay there, or two, we need approval to move it to the MCC. I just wanted to clarify that. So saying that, with the first option, we're only using about $900,000 of the $1.9 million grant. So this grant also addresses accessibility improvements. So I don't know if there's anything else in Marlene Stewart Street Park that we want to address with the additional $1 million that's not being spent for accessibility. I'm just putting it out there that it's very specific to that. So, and I haven't had a chance to talk to the staff about that just because I think our heads were all towards something else, but I just want to put that on the table. If there's something else that maybe we can go back to them and say, if that's the option that council's looking at, can we use the money for X?
Okay, thank you. To the manager, Christina. So if we do go one, even if we go three, so the splash, let's say we go one, the splash pad will be open, right, during the construction of the renovation of the pool, or not?
Through you, Mayor. I think that depends on the contractor, if they're comfortable with, I would assume so, but we don't know. We really don't know. The distance is very close between the pool, and I could imagine they might need some more space.
Yeah, they may end up just shutting the whole complex down. Okay, thank you for that. I thought I had another question, but I'll go back to any other questions from council? Council Nesnick.
Well, just maybe through you, Mr. Mayor, if our treasurer could just explain some of the financing in verbal terms rather than me reading it. Because I do, like as I said, now that you've said that, here we are again giving back money to the province. And we really need to stop doing that because as we know, historically, that comes back to bite us. So important that we would, the purpose is to make it accessible and to build a new pool. That's what the funds were for. So if we only renovate, we're going to be losing half of that. It's still going to cost taxpayers some money because of that. And so in comparison to that, what the new builds, say at the MCC or the Civic Square, whichever people prefer, I like the MCC idea, but I think it's going to come all out in the wash. And I think it's still a pay me now or pay me later scenario. And I just don't feel comfortable with just a renovation because it is so old. If it was only a 25-year-old pool, it'd be different, but it's like 40-something, 60 years old, this pool. Like, it's time, folks, to bite the bullet. And I think our young families deserve a new pool, new shiny pool, as somebody else says. So if you can just explain the financing, say we did go with option 3, please.
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, there's Schedule B here that was prepared by the Deputy Treasurer. So the option 1 is renovate the existing pool. So as you can see there, we would be using $916,000 of the $1.9 million grant. So we're giving $1 million back. And then about $330,000 would be coming from the town's portion, and no debt would be taken out. So that's option 1. Option 2 is to rebuild at Marlene Stewart Street Park. So that one there is $7.5 million, and option 3 is $8 million if we're to build at the MCC in the courtyard, and then option 4 is if we build at the Civic Square at 9.8. So I would exclude the 9.8 and just because of the dollar amount and focus on option 3, which is what a few of the councilors have been talking about. So in option 3 at $8 million, we would fully utilize the $1.9 million grant, and then the town would have to take out debt for the $6 million, the difference. So 8 million minus the 2 million of the grant is $6 million of what we have to take debt out. Now, part of the problem that we're having, I mean, the original funding of the pool also had a development charge component. We are going to be bringing a report to council on October 15th, just to give an update on the situation of the development charges and the reserve that we have and the issues that we're having. So part of it is that there isn't enough money in that reserve to contribute towards the pool, so that more of the burden will come to the taxpayer. So at the end of the day, we would need 1.22% of a tax levy increase in 2026 to cover the principal and interest portion of the pool debt. In, was that 30 years? Oh, for 20 years. And for 25 years, it's 1.1 of a tax levy increase. I don't know if you want to add anything else, Usama? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Through the mayor. So simply put, you're taking out $6 million of debt. Portion of that normally would have been funded through DCs, but because we don't have the DC's revenue, we would have to fund all of it through the tax levy. I do want to mention that the debt repayment reserve fund that council approved a couple of years ago is helping fund that. Otherwise, that impact would be twice as much. So if you look at the funding options section of the table, I've broken down the tax levy debt payment and the DC funded debt payment. So if you look at option 3, halfway down the middle of the table, the total debt payment for taking out $6 million over 25 years, the one that's highlighted in blue, it's about $406,000 annual debt payment to take out $6 million over 25 years. And I've broken that down between the portion that's relating to the tax levy portion, which is benefit to existing, and then the $227,000 is the debt for as a result of growth, as it was outlined in the DC study. Unfortunately for us, because we don't have the DC revenues coming in as much as we would have liked, so the entire amount needs to be funded from the tax levy. However, the 178, we have enough money set aside in our debt repayment reserve to be able to take that 178 every year for the duration of the debt. So the only impact of the levy is the 227, which is what that 1.1% is. That was longer than I expected, so I don't know if I confused or helped.
I got it. Okay, thank you.
You okay then,
Yes,
Council?
thank you.
Okay. So my question goes back to the Director of Finance. When we started down this road, this previous council came in and we were loaded down with debt. How far, if we were to go with the pool-wise, it seems to me we're right back up again. And all this cutting of expenses and what have you, this one project is going to take us, it's not going to take us to where we were 5 years ago or 6 years ago?
Yeah. So through you, Mr. Mayor, the percentage would be at 10.2. So no, it's not. It's still going to be within the policy, because the policy right now is 12 to be under 12%.
Okay.
So it won't bring us over.
Okay. And the question is, if you can have, I apologize for not giving you this question ahead of time.
Oh, it's okay.
What were we at when this council got elected 2018? Let's say when the 2018 council was elected. So in that year, what were we at that?
I was just looking that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe it.
When I started here in 2017, we were well above 15%, but I think you can look that up quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then
So that's why we brought in the debt repayment, the debt policy,
Yes.
and the reserve policy to bring that down. Most municipalities are around 10%.
Yes.
And being at 10.2 with the taking the pool out, we're still within our limit because we're up to 12%, up to I think 2030. So we're still fine.
Okay.
We would still be fine with that
As far as the
because
policy
we've been
goes.
very strict in not taking debt out all these years.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
As far as the policy goes,
Yeah, we would be in line with the policy. That's correct.
Okay, I appreciate
And,
that.
yes.
And back to perhaps the manager. So if we go with option one, we lose, let's say we lose everything down in Marlene Stewart Street, that's for the 1 year then? Is that,
That is correct.
and that would start this year, hopefully?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And Councilor Wink?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, to Deputy or Director of Finance, we would be looking at a debenture on for the pool, but we also have a debenture for the fire hall. What other debentures are we looking at adding to our list?
That's it for 2026, yeah. So don't forget, we have the debt repayment reserve. So what the debt repayment reserve was doing is that as the debentures are maturing, so that we have debentures, current debentures right now that are maturing, as opposed to letting the budget amount fall, being used for something else in the operating budget, we moved it to a reserve for future use, so it doesn't impact the tax levy increase.
So the fire hall, I
Right,
understand.
it's completely covered by the debt repayment reserve.
Correct.
Right.
So with the fire hall and the additional money for the pool,
It brings us to 10.2%.
do we have enough money there to pay both debts? So we got the fire hall, we've got to pay a debt, and now pool, we've got to pay a debt.
Yes,
With that
but
reserve, do we have enough in those reserves to cover the two?
the portion that we don't have money for is the portion that's supposed to be covered by the DC reserve. So that's the part that we would have to take, that would hit the tax levy of about 1.1% in year, like next year, 2026. That's the portion that the other part was covered by the debt repayment reserve. So the 1.1% is the DC portion,
And that goes for for the next 25 years?
20 years.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Councilor.
so that's out of the pockets of the taxpayers. So it's an additional 1% every year for 25 years.
No, it's 1.1% in the 2026, then it's built in. It doesn't increase 1.1 every year, it's built into the budget. Yeah, it's just next year.
Yep.
Councilor Wink for that comments. Any other questions, comments? We've all had our say, and if I don't see any more comments, I will call the vote right after the deputy mayor talks.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I jumped in. Just to comment on, I commend a previous council and this council for the efforts that they've taken, and our treasurer to bring our debt level down and not take out any new debt. And my way of thinking, might be wrong, but my way of thinking is we did all that so that we could do something like this and still not have a huge impact or a very large impact on the taxpayer. So those did not go in vain. Those efforts were not in vain. They allowed us to be able to do this because there are things, like Councillor Wink said, that we need to be doing. And my belief is, when you talk to people, is if they see something that's tangible and your tax levy goes up, they understand that. They want services and et cetera. Hopefully, whichever way council goes, the people will still think that way. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Eckert. Any other comments? If not, I believe I want a recorded vote, if I may. No.
Thank you, Ms. Ray. We don't actually have an option on the table at the moment, so
I'm
we'd be looking
sorry.
for an
So we don't-
amendment to insert an
Okay,
option.
excellent. Okay, thank you.
And yes, you can absolutely have a recorded vote if you'd like.
Okay, so is there one that someone wants to put an option forward? Councillor Hildebrand.
I'll put forward Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll put forward option 1.
Okay, so then, is there a seconder for that? Council Kerr, you will second that. So then, council, the option 1 is on the floor. To any further discussion on option 1? Any further comments, questions? Not seeing any, so I'll call the vote on option 1. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd like a recorded vote. please.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk?
Absolutely. So I can either call everyone's name, or you can just do a show of hands and I can record who voted. Which
Why
way.
don't you call the names?
Absolutely. Okay, so this is for, to insert option 1 into the motion. So beginning with Councillor Bernarski, yay or nay?
Nay.
Thank you. Councillor Eckert? Or yes?
Nay.
Thank you. Councillor Hildebrand?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Kerr?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Niznik?
No.
Thank you. Councillor Wink?
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Junkin?
Yes.
Okay, and that amendment passes. Mr. Mayor, that then brings you to the motion as amended. If you'd like to call for a new mover and seconder for this, and this would include option 1.
Okay, so mover would be Councilor Kerr, and the seconder will be Councilor Hildebrand.
Understand, thank you. So the motion as amended inclusive of option 1 for the Pelham Pool.
Yes. Any further comments? And no one has called for a recorded vote, so we will just, as usual. So for option 1, all those in favor, raise your hands. And so against option 1, raise your hands, and I will cast the deciding vote, and I will raise my hand.
Understood, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Mayor, that does bring you to item 17, resolution to move in camera, and I have a motion put forth by Deputy Mayor Eckert, seconded by Councillor Niznik, that council resolve into closed session to consider the following matter. 1 item, closed session report 2025-0208, personal matters of an identifiable individual as per section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land as per section 239(2)C, and advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege as per section 239(2)F. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and debates going in camera. Anyone? I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Seen none opposed. We will now move into closed session.
Thank you.